Hello again, traders, and welcome back to the Hot Stocks Outlook for May 9th, 2025. I hope you all have had an excellent week out there in the financial markets. And as always, we're here to take a look at the most recent VantagePoint A.i predictive forecast. So if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and click on that link down in the description below. You can sign up and get a live demonstration so you can learn all the specifics about how these predictive technologies are helping traders make much better trading decisions out in the marketplace. Now, as we typically start out, we tend to take a look here at the S&P 500 just to get a sense of where broadly equity prices have been. And so a couple things really stand out here. We can see year to date, we're still down about 3%. But if we went back an entire year, we'd only be up 9%. But if we went up back 30 days because of all this news and volatility around tariffs, well, you'd be up about 14% just over the past 30 trading days. And so this is why with the recent hot stocks outlooks here, we've been focusing on where are the VantagePoint forecasts showing very strong signals as far as our predicted moving average crossovers. That really helps the trader identify where is this strength coming in, where should that focus and attention go. So a really great example here in shares of AMD of how all of these predictive tools work together for the trader. And so what we're looking at here is daily bars and candles. So each one of these candles is going to represent a full and complete trading day. And it's right up against that price data that you'll first notice that there is a black line and also a blue line value against the price action. And so that black line that you're seeing there, that is actually a simple moving average, or what we refer to as the actual simple moving average, because it's a simple moving average that in this case looks back over the previous 10 closes. It'll add all those values together and then divide by that number. And so for VantagePoint traders, this acts as a baseline, letting us know where market prices have been. And what we can do is compare that to the proprietary predicted moving average, this blue line that you see on the chart. And for this number to get calculated, essentially a price to get plotted and calculated on the chart every evening, well, this is where the technology of artificial neural networks come into play, and they're performing what we would call intermarket analysis. And so this is very important for shares of something like AMD. You know, AMD is not just driven around by the previous closes of AMD. It can be driven by things like the Qs or potentially, technology ETFs. It can also look at other individual stocks like, NVIDIA or Intel, some of its competitors. But it's also able to find important market relationships between markets that you wouldn't assume there's a relationship. But it's able to, pull out those price clues and use it to your advantage to produce this highly accurate forecast. And so, this goes all the way down the line. It can go to stock indices futures, it can go to global interest rates. Depending on the market, it may even look at commodities like gold, silver, wheat market, depending on, again, applicably where, the intermarkets have identified a important market relationship. And so it takes this global approach and it's using all of that data with the help of these artificial neural networks to generate what are essentially price predictions with a very high level of accuracy. So whenever we see this blue line cross above the black line, well, that's VantagePoint suggesting that these average prices are going to start moving higher and traders may want to look to take a long position. And what's great about this is we have all of these features within VantagePoint to actually identify these fresh crossovers as they occur. It's called the VantagePoint IntelliScan feature. And so regardless of what criteria the trader is looking for shorter term day trades, longer term position or swing trades, you have all the tools here to really identify these opportunities and more importantly, adapt as the market moves forward. So a really great trade management tool. Once you get into a market, well, you want to know, hey, where should I be buying more? Where should I be taking profit? And this is where these subsequent tools we're going to talk about here really help traders. Now, if you look at the very bottom of the chart, you see this bar that goes from green to red, back to green. Well, this is also utilizing that technology of artificial neural networks, but I always like to say that it's tuned to solve a different problem. And this problem being short-term strength or weakness over a 48-hour period. And so this is where VantagePoint's very high accuracy statistics come from, is we get this right about 80+% of the time on a very wide range of markets. And so when we get that predicted moving average crossing above the actual moving average, when that neural index is bullish, you tend to get some price momentum in the market. Now, in addition to not only the overall trend forecast, but a short-term forecast, you also get the VantagePoint predicted high and low. So before every trading day, you're provided this range of where these extremes in the market are likely to be. And this is what helps traders with entries, limit orders, profit targets, again, applying that information to how you like to trade. And as we look back at all of these predictions, you can see how accurate all of these forecasts are. Now, what's interesting about this is you see that we look back, and what's going to happen is we're going to get the actual price data filling in, but those prediction levels will remain the same. And so you see as this market started to get moving, excellent opportunities down towards the Vantage Point predicted low. If you have an order waiting, you'd get filled at the open there and then immediately trade higher towards these predicted highs. So really nice opportunities even here 2 days ago, moving down to the predicted low, what would have been on Wednesday, and seeing a nice advance up to $105 a share. And so this is what's very interesting is we got these lower predicted lows here, really warning traders that, look, we may get a little bit of a pullback, but the overall trend is still very bullish here. And as we look at AMD here, we can see that, again, overall, really nice move. And broadly, markets have done well. So when we're looking around at the tech stocks, looking at the NASDAQ, this is where we see a lot of strength. And we've highlighted this separation over this period of how strong is that prediction against the actual moving average. So let's move forward with that information. And I'll actually come back first and we'll review some of these markets that we've looked at in previous Hot Stocks Outlook. So here's Ciena Corporation. This is another opportunity where, again, recently we're saying, look, there's a lot of separation between that predicted moving average and the actual moving average, a lot of strength from the neural index. And so you see as this blue line originally crosses above the black line, you may get these periods of sideways price action, right? Notice the neural index goes bearish. We get little sideways price action for a couple of trading days. But overall, the trend very, very bullish. And we can look at those Vantage Point predicted highs and lows. And you see multiple levels here offering up opportunities for the trader to get involved in the market. And this past week here, you see this would have been Friday. Well, actually, that would have been Monday, Tuesday, and now we're going into Friday here. So really highlighting that, look, this is an area where there's strength in the market. Even through that, Fed announcement, we've had some persistent strength here. So about a 4, almost 5% rally just from last week's most recent, Vantage Point predicted lows. So really nice opportunity there as we see tech stocks do very well. Now, Bluebird here, really interesting. Now, we just had earnings, and that's always going to add some volatility to the chart. You see the market gap down, but then traded up in the direction of the overall trend. And this is a stock that I originally brought through right after we got all of that strength from the tariff announcements being taken off. And so what we were highlighting is, look, here's a strong crossover to the upside. There's a lot of separation between that blue line and the black line. And as long as that blue line remains above the black line, well, in this case, you could exploit the bullish positioning. And so you see here how many opportunities where the market has moved down towards these Vantage Point predicted lows. And as a trader looking to do either short-term or potentially longer-term trading in the market, these are the areas where you want to be scooping up shares. And you see that even with that move around earnings, well, your entries down here, well, haven't even gotten close to being affected yet. And so it gives you the opportunity for not only the short-term trades, but also that long-term positioning should those trends continue. So really nice opportunity here in Bluebird. Pulled back a little bit from its highs, but this is a 12, almost 13% rally in the past 20 trading days. Over this period, it's been up almost 19% in 19 trading days. So this is a very important area where we say, okay, well, Vantage Point forecasts and the IntelliScan are identifying this reversal of trend. We're seeing the persistence as far as that blue line remaining above the black line. And you see that, as you get more and more strength, well, it just sort of plays out here where you saw that original strength holding up for quite a long period of time. So again, really nice opportunity there in shares of Bluebird. More traditionally here's Bank of America. It's a very popular stock. Very clearly here, back in the middle of April, crossover to the upside after earnings. You see that the neural index gets bearish here and you get weakness for the next 48 hours. But look at that separation between the predicted moving average and the actual moving average. It's a very strong market. We get a little bit of a blip here in the middle of this week, but very clearly an area where you want to be a buyer, and also sends you some valuable information about, hey, what's going on with financial stocks, right? So there's a lot of opportunities throughout financial stocks that as Bank of America moves higher, a lot of other banking stocks will move in the same way. And you can hone in with your Vantage Point forecast on, hey, where's the best place to go ahead and exploit this opportunity here? So Bank of America shares up about 12% just in the past 16 trading days. And lastly here, a little bit going on within retail. So a lot of stocks that really got hammered because of tariffs. Well, we're starting to see this blue line cross above the black line. And this is what's so interesting about this. Notice that that blue line crosses above the black line. And look at the next day's predicted highs and lows where I bring these up. Even with all of this volatility, it's warning you, look for the market to come back down here, right? So even after this trading day, It's warning you, expect prices all the way down at these lows a couple of days later. And sure enough, those are where those excellent entries are. And then the trend really starts to take off. As we settle in, you see it does a great job of adapting and saying, all right, we've gotten a big rally. Well, how are things shifting moving forward? Where are those levels for the trader to get involved? And you see about 5 entries just in the past couple of weeks here as shares of this market advance. So really exciting opportunity here in Levi. And it gives you a little information, again, just like financials, about the space, that there is some bullishness here. We are seeing bullish forecasts, about a 16% rally in 18 trading days on shares of Levi Strauss. A really nice opportunity spread throughout the marketplace. So we'll go ahead and leave it there for today. Once again, this has been the Hot Stocks Outlook for May 9th, 2025. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck and bye for now.